burning through my darkest nights. You're the only one that I want. I'm addicted to your light. You said I'll never fall again. This don't even feel like falling. I don't begin. To pull me back to the ground again. It's like I've been awakened. And you're breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Burning through my darkest nights. You're the only one that I want. I'm addicted to your light. You said I'll never fall again. Just don't even feel like falling. I don't begin. Pull me back to the ground again. It's like I've been awakened. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out.
Oh, I can see it.
And to move it to South Canelli, tantamount to adding an extra 10 minutes at least to response times within the town.
So what are your biggest fears then?
My biggest fears are that firemen would have to leave Porthcawl, leave their neighbours, drive up to South Canelli on the busiest road in South Wales in the holiday time, then get into the fire engine and come back to help their neighbours.
So you think that
Lives are going to be at risk, and the main idea of this is to save money. If the fire service honestly believes that lives are less important than saving money, then we disagree. And I think there's a few dozen people here that would disagree as well.
And they say that the number of emergencies has reduced, and that's why they now have more firefighters and more firefighters, and so that's why they're closing to setting up the weather.
I've never heard of a plane crashing at Cardiff Wales Airport, but there's a fire station there that does absolutely very little, thank goodness. I've never seen a train crash, but I understand they do happen.
So tell me, just obviously we see it's well supported here. I think there's 6,500 people to do.
Yes.
Just how adamant are the townspeople that they will not lose their fire station?
Well, let's ask them.
What do you think about losing your fire station?
People like you would think of that.
I think that was quite unanimous.
Well, good afternoon everybody. Thank you very, very much for turning out and giving up some time on your weekend. My name's Graham Walter, I'm a local town councillor for Gibbon. I'm not speaking on behalf of the town council, I'm speaking on behalf of the people I represent. I'll be followed shortly afterwards by our Mayor, Councillor Mike Clark. So thank you for turning out, and why are we here? Well, we have seen a consultation document that proposes the closing of this fire station and the merger of this fire station and the one in Kenwick Hill at a new site to be built in South Canelli. Now for us that poses a significant increase in risk, a risk to the 9,000 homes and businesses in this town and a risk to the 16,000 people who live here. The document that was presented to us gave very, very few facts in terms of what things have been considered in reaching the decision. And in our view, it was a decision based on a computer model. What it failed to acknowledge was that this town has a population of 16,000 people, but that's 16,000 full-time permanent residents. It doesn't take any account of the 1,800 mobile caravans a mile away from here, which at any one time can be occupied by 5,000 or 6,000 people. Those caravans have between them 3,500 gas bombs. It takes no account of the amount of time it will take for our firefighters to reach this point here from home, which we're told by them is 2 or 3 minutes, and they will now have to drive up to South Canelli, and if, God forbid, there was a fire, let's say, in Newton, they would then have to drive all the way back down to Newton, or all the way back down to Rest Bay to attend. That extra time presents an extra risk to you, to us, and it's not acceptable. The consultation document takes no account of the fact that there are 1,350 homes planned to be built over there over the next few years, which could swell our population by another 4,000 or 5,000 people, taking us to the second largest town in the county borough, higher even than my stake at 20,000. They've taken no account of that whatsoever. The document that was presented to us is it's weak, it's bereft of facts, and it doesn't set out a case, apart from financial, as to why these two fire stations should be closed and merged together. But I ask you, we have to acknowledge that there are financial pressures, but how much is it going to cost to build a brand new facility in South Kennelly and manage it for the next 10 years versus the cost of maintaining this existing facility and the existing facility in Kenbig Hill for the next 10 years? I'm no mathematician, but I suspect it would be cheaper to maintain the status quo.
Yes!
Yes!
The document doesn't take into account the number of schools we have here and the school roll of pupils. It doesn't acknowledge the risks inherent in our guest houses, in our two major attractions at the High Tide and at Treco Bay, which between them can accommodate over 1,000 people on a Friday and Saturday night. Not mentioned. It's just an open, bland document that says, because we have to save money, this is where we're going to make the cuts. So the Town Council have unanimously decided to oppose this. We've written a lengthy document in response to the consultation, which has been sent off. And the question now is, what happens next? Well, if it's a proper consultation, then they will take into account the points that we've made, and we'll get a response, and hopefully a change of heart. If it's not a proper consultation and the decision's already been made, then we won't, and we might have to meet again. I'm going to hand over now to our Mayor, Councillor Mike Clark. Thank you once again for coming out this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think Graham has explained to you the main facts behind things, and I think one of the reasons that I called a special council meeting of all councillors last week, sorry, the week before last, over the week's holiday, was to look at some of the really queer issues that there seem to be about this particular proposal. I think we all understand that sometimes things have to merge, we all understand that things have to change, but I think our fire service is something we tend to take for granted. And we've got a lot of people here today, but anybody in the town who's not here today, if they have a fire problem, they're going to be ringing 999 and they're going to expect someone from here to turn up. So most of us won't use it, but we do need the security of knowing it's there. The biggest concerns that I had was that the figures and the decision was worked out on the basis of 16,000 inhabitants and 7,000 houses, whereas we doubled during the course of the year. Now I know that Graham mentioned Treco Bay, which is large. Treco Bay is well managed, it's very safe, and they're very well organised, but everywhere needs the backup of the services, the 999 services now and again. One of the most unusual things, I think, you read different things about our town council, and we all try to work hard for the town, but it's not very often we're unanimous on things, and we really were when we met 2 weeks ago in relation to this. And we were asked to provide a letter of support, and what was different this time was that a group of councillors were delegated to make sure we understood what the facts were. This wasn't just about firing off a letter of objection and it being filed amongst others. We checked the facts. We spent quite a while ensuring that we got things right, and that the letter that Graham had was a letter that went off. I think it ran to 4 pages in the end by the time I finally signed it, and it set out exactly what our objections were. This is one of those things, you know, we tend to see things that happen. Someone makes a decision and they decide to close this or merge this, or there's a change. Then something happens, and what do? We find whoever made the decision retires, they get a nice handsome pension, and there's quite an inquiry set up to find out what's gone wrong. This time we must make sure that we don't go down that well-trodden path. This is something we need to make sure that we succeed in keeping the station. Thank you very much.
That's not the last, by the way. We have our AM here, Peter Black, and I'd like Peter to come in and thank him all for coming all the way to join us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Peter Black. I'm one of the regional assembly members for this area, and I'm delighted to have come to support this cause, because it seems to me that any town of 16,000 people deserves to have its own fire station. Take into account the fact that this isn't just any old town. This is Porthcawl, the jewel of Bridgend, a major holiday destination with major holiday resorts here which attract thousands of people every year, in addition to the 16,000 people living here. I think it's an absolute travesty that any computer model or any bureaucrat would want to take this fire station away from Porthcawl. What's important now is that this massive support of people here, a really good turnout today to show that the people of Porthcawl want to keep this fire station. We need to get that message across to the Fire and Rescue Authority. I've written to the Fire and Rescue Authority already, setting out my objections to losing this fire station. What's important now is that everybody here who's come to support this rally should also write a letter to the Fire and Rescue Authority. It isn't just good enough to do a petition. The more letters they have, the more they understand the strength of feeling about losing this fire station from Porthcawl. If we all get together and fight together and do so in an intelligent and structured way, we can win this battle and we can keep this fire station. So please put your pens on paper and write to the Fire and Rescue Authority and tell them that we're not prepared to lose this fire station from Porthcawl. Thank you very much.
Right, just one last thing. If you do want to have your say, the fire service has a website address, and it's on Porthcawl First. Is there anybody here that's not on Porthcawl First? Oh, good. Right, it's on Porthcawl First. It's have your say at South Wales Fire and Rescue, something like that. Please contact them. The more publicity this stupid, ludicrous proposal gets, the less chance it is of happening. Thank you very much indeed for turning up today. And one little tiny thing, happy anniversary, wife. Thank you.